Welcome. I'm Suresh Kochatal, and here with us we have a special guest today on a book called Templexity, which we had done a couple of interviews earlier with the author, Surendranath Bopparaju. But there is a person behind that book who drew all these brilliant illustrative pictures in the entire gamut of the book, the 430 odd pages. And today she is in our studio of Nationalist Hub. Let's speak to her and understand how that project evolved, who she is as a person, and of course, where does she go from here. Welcome to Swathy.
Hi. Hello.
Swathy Chalapathy, an artist, illustrator, a designer. I don't know, I can go on and on. So, would you like to talk about your early days of your career, or you want to say even your education and how you got into this field?
Okay, sure. I mean, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for everything. And then I think it was my initial days. If I want to start, I really love art. Okay, I always wanted to be, I mean, I wouldn't say always, but I wanted to do architecture in the start. Okay, and then I came into arts. I stumbled upon this project. It just all happened in a flow, and it was just it was a fascinating 9-year-old journey for me, and so it all started with me wanting a project for my career, and I did not have anybody to support this art dream except my parents. So I really wanted some support, something to latch on to, later part of my life. So I thought that Suren is my dad's friend. They both are classmates. So that's how I got to meet him exactly on 25th of May. All right.
So before we get into the dates and calendars and all that,
okay.
Swathy, you are basically from Sikandrabad.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
In Maratpalli.
Right.
Okay. So that's kind of the other end of the city.
Correct.
So we are speaking about your early days in career when you started your schooling. Every child has a dream.
Right.
I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a scientist and all that.
Yeah.
What was your dream?
Honestly, if I have to tell you, I did not want to do some things, that is doctor and engineer.
So you did not want to be a doctor, did you?
I did not want to do that.
That's something very, very different
Yes.
from a normal school kid in Telugu-speaking states.
Exactly. So I know that I don't have these two options. So I just wanted to explore what else do I have. Okay, then I I came upon architecture, art. It just happened within that span of two to 3 years, from my 8th class to 10th class. I just realized, okay, this is how I wanted it to be. I did the regular MPC just in case, but I know that I'm not going to do engineering or doctor.
So you went on to do your arts, and that was from JNTU?
JNFAU.
Yeah, that's at Masattank.
Masattank, correct.
So how was that? How was the course like? How was it? When you got into it, it's something not every kid gets into. It's
Correct.
not engineering.
Correct.
It's not medicine.
Right.
And definitely it is not being a scientist.
Right.
But it's something different. And
Right.
some people have told you, what are you doing? Drawing? Sketching?
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
So how did it all happen then? How did you take it?
I took it with full grace. Yes, this is what I'm doing. And the best part is, if you say engineering or if you say doctor, you don't have anything to talk about. Like none of my friends or any of my relatives had nothing to say about it. It's just doctor, or it's engineer or any other course. But for me, I had like at least a half an hour speech. As to what I do in my college, how exactly my day goes, in the college, how my exams are. We had like a first year we have one full day, 5-hour exam. Second year we have 10-hour exam. So it is
10 hours exam?
10 hours, one exam.
One would collapse at the end of it, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine like fourth year we have 20 hours exam. So that's how it is. Like of course, the question demands that kind of a time. But it is interesting to, I mean, it's a zero pressure.
So for a lay person, for a
Okay.
student who tomorrow wants to follow your footsteps,
Okay.
what is the course all about?
Okay, so it's graphic designing, it's illustrations, you learn typography. It's a very interesting course, I would say. I mean, I did applied arts. So there are other courses as well, like animation, there are lots of other courses. But I have done applied arts, and it turned out to be great for me, at least. I mean, you can surely freelance parallelly, while taking up that course itself. You can learn the skills that you needed. As I would say, Templexity have given me a lot of opportunity to explore the left, right, center of my
Okay. So after you're done with your arts course, I can call it that way.
right.
Then what? What next?
Okay, then I had Templexity with me.
Okay.
So then I thought, yeah, okay, I have to do something masters. Okay,
Okay.
so I wanted to do masters. So I prepared for my masters for almost 6 to 8 months, and parallelly I was working with the book with Suren, and it was again going through from a very relaxed exam to a very competitive
So
exam.
where did you do your masters?
NIFT Bombay,
And IFT Bombay. And what was the course?
strategic design.
Strategic designing.
Yes.
I thought there was only
Masters in-
designing, but there was also strategic designing.
Yeah, so it basically deals with branding. So same, whatever I've done in my bachelor's, it's an extension to it.
Okay. So you had a choice. Maybe you could have got into advertising or film making or anything, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct. Yes.
A child has a choice once
Yes.
she does that. Now,
Right.
in between, for our viewers who keep thinking, what is Templexity that Swathy keeps talking about? It's a magnum opus by Surendranath Bopparaju, a labor of his love for almost, I think, 10 plus years, where he worked on temples of various shapes, sizes, and countries, right from the Far East to India. And that book we had discussed in a couple of interviews here with us. Templexity is available on Amazon, and you can even see it in the description of this particular YouTube that we will post later. But to understand Templexity, why Templexity? Because Surendranath wrote about temples. He took pictures of temples. I mean, I think 75,000 high resolution pictures. That's what he told me, of which only a very minute part was used in the book because of paucity of space. But there's some brilliant sketches in that book, you'll see, and that is where Swathy comes in. In terms of drawing, Swathy, when you started Templexity, it must have been a maze because there's so many things that were up in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm sure Suren guided you somewhere along the way and saying, this is what we do first, this is what we do next.
Yes.
But how long did you take to complete the entire drawings in the book?
It took 4 years.
4 years of work.
Yes,
And
it's a very small answer, but it literally my major problem was to manage time. Between going to college, dealing with the projects over there, then coming back immediately and working on this project, and working on each sketch, and it was a lot of work. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of energy. I was so frustrated after some months. I was going crazy because I also have to listen to what is happening in the book. I have to review. Okay, whatever he's writing, he used to send it across. Okay, and he asked me to read it. So I have to take time to read it, understand it. I don't have as much knowledge as he has. So I have to go through all that from scratch. I don't know anything about temples before this project. I have to literally remember all the temple names, dynasty names, king names. Okay, the woman modes. Okay, the 24 Vishnu avatars. You ask me anything. He used to quiz me every second day.
But what has that got to do with drawing? Let me ask you.
Okay, so to get into the project,
Correct.
you need to have the understanding of what it is. I was not just an illustrator, I was also an integral part of the book. being just an illustrator would not take me 9 years.
Correct.
It is just you know, a 2-day job. I mean, I don't know, a 1-year job maybe maximum. But I was an integral part of the book. I traveled with the book. I traveled with him through every iteration, every little change in terms of imagery, what has to come, what should not come, and what can be illustrated. That is the reason I have a bundle of sketches with me, which is just discarded. Initially, we started doing only the temple, directly the temples. Then we realized when we have a good picture, why do we need a sketch?
So you went beyond temples. What I think Surendra spoke about this entire thing to me in detail.
Yeah.
Of course, what would have happened is that to sustain that interest also, I think to break away from just a temple into, say, ornaments or dresses and these kind of things, I think that is where a person like you, a young person like you, would bring in a lot more to the table, isn't it?
Right, absolutely.
And so, let me ask you, I mean, you said you worked on it for years on this project, 4 years. But how did you sustain your interest? You told me you got frustrated sometimes. How did you sustain your interest for such a long time?
It is just because my trade-off is learning, you know. I wouldn't get a second chance to actually go through a project like this, to have this kind of learning in my, I mean, this sort of commitment, okay, it helped me learn how to manage time, how to retain interest in a subject in this level, and to learn about so many temples and to get in depth about one subject. That's the experience, that's the learning, that's the you know, that is what caught my interest, and I could not leave that, you know.
So, but there must be numerous challenges in organizing this kind of database of projects or database of things that you were doing at the same time, isn't it?
Right.
You must have been working on a temple sketch, you must be working on a dress, you must be working on an ornaments,
Right.
you must be working on motifs,
Correct.
various things there.
Right.
But how did you, I mean, he told me how he organized this, the entire database. How did he start about putting the pictures together? How did he go about doing it?
Yeah.
You know, various ages he went through first, and then you know, various civilizations that he went through. But in your case, when you're sketching, when you're drawing, you remember you are not sitting with the author directly across.
Yeah.
And then you decide, okay, fine, let me sketch this.
Yeah.
And after you sketch, when he says, no, I don't like this, what's your feeling?
No, that's not how it goes. So what he does is, he asks me to build a database for what I'm going to sketch. So I have to go through all the images. I have to go through all the raw data. I ask him, like, so we brainstorm and come up with, okay, these are the thematics. So initially we had 10, now we have 7. So it all, we initially organized it, everything, like the coiffures, the dresses, the ornaments, the even the shikharas that I drew, the crowns, kiritas that I drew. All these have first been organized as folders. Again, same thing as he did for his research. I had to do the same thing for my research. So I had to organize everything and then go through each one of them and go through all the temples. What are the differences? What are the similarities? What can I put in the book? Okay, I have to take different types of the objective is to show different types of dresses or different types of ornaments. I don't want to show the same things, but again, there is a difference in each and every temple, each and every circuit. The you know, once the dynasty changes, the whole approach changes, you know.
Right.
So that's a lot of observations have come out. And we've realized that this needs recognition, this needs a page, this needs a, you know, a place in the book, you know, and that's how the illustrations came about. And yeah.
So, but in a book, I mean, a picture speaks 1,000 words, they say.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? So why would one do a sketch or an illustration? There must have been some justification for that, isn't it? Is it to go beyond a picture?
Yes. So if you look at, if you just say that, if you put a picture and if you say this is the coiffure, you actually don't see the the actual Jada, you don't see that. You have to make the person look at the picture, because there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of other things in that picture that you would want to see. But here, when you take it out and draw it as a sketch, it is completely a different thing. It's a completely different view. You are just looking at, okay, these are the things that are there in the temple complex. So these are the this is what the sculptures try to do. This is the sculptor's observations. So that's the kind of analysis we want a reader to have, not our view, but a reader to actually understand that this is what it is. This is how.
Did it help that you were a lady doing all this? That when you draw a couture or you draw a jewelry or anything for that matter,
Yeah.
does that kind of finesse come from your expertise or your understanding of the subject better?
I think yes. I mean, my perspective of looking at a subject when he says something, my perspective would be a completely different thing. So I get the feminine touch to it for sure.
That's exactly.
So yeah.
But
That's
when
there.
you are actually drawing so many things, Swati, when you did the book, I'm sure when you started and when you finally ended, of course there must have been so much of relief, saying, "Oh, finally I'm done," kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there would have been moments of regret that I could have used this one later. I could have done this better. Maybe there's a version 2 of the book already on the way where you'll have more of these kind of things. Because I remember Suren telling me this, that he wants to actually make different parts of the book.
Right.
Make jewelry into a separate thing. You are an NIFT student and give it to NIFT and say, okay, use this in your course material, and
Right.
that can be that. So do you think your learning of temples, I'm not talking about religious perspective, but your terms in understanding art, architecture, a Khmer art, as much as different from, say, a Tanjavur art would be there. These are two different things, or the Cholas or the Badamis. I mean, these are different kind of permutations and combinations we see.
Correct.
Did you also go through this journey of a lifetime trying to understand this book?
Sure, definitely. I mean, it's still a learning. It's never ending. I've not even scratched the surface, of sketching what the Templexity database, the 50,000, 75,000 images that we have. That I've not even scratched the surface. We just did it for this particular book. We wanted this to go out. It's a long wait. And it took almost 4 years in the publishing phase itself. 4 years, so many iterations in the publishing phase after the 4 years of actual the first draft, then going to the publishing phase. So all these things took a lot of time. So we just wanted the first book to go out. We wanted to we wanted this to be out at least.
The baby has to be born.
Correct. The baby has to be born. That's first step is done. Now whatever iterations, whatever additions that we want to do, if we want to make it 600 pages, it doesn't matter, because the book is out there and people have read it, people have understood the importance of it, and that's important. That's the first step.
That's
so definitely there will be a lot of things to look forward in terms of sketches.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I think one thing which, of course, it's like asking any artist or a mother which of her 3 children or 4 children is the best. It's like asking you which of those illustrations that you did in the book do you think is the best, or what you consider as the best?
Actually, there's one which I want to talk about. So there's this whole way I had to reconstruct Barhut Stupa. So
Can you tell our viewers a bit more about it? Where?
Sure. So the thing is, there was a tiny part of Barhut Stupa, which is in the museum, and with that, and saying that Sanchi Stupa is similar to Barhut Stupa, the dimensions of it, how big the Harmika would look like. So all these things had to be reimagined, okay, and it's an imaginary drawing. The Bharut Stupa is an imaginary drawing. It's not there, it's not there anymore. The stupa does not exist. But I had to draw that, imagine and draw that. That was a challenging, very challenging drawing for me.
So you went back to the era when it was actually done?
Yes.
And
yes.
get into the mind of the artist who did it, or rather the sculptor who did it?
Absolutely. It was a wonderful experience. I mean, we had to go through the scriptures and actually understand how it is done, what is the similarities, is this right or is this not. That's one debate,
So what kind of illustrations are there in the book? How do you classify these illustrations? How many types would be there?
I would say classification.
Or any way you want to put it.
Okay. No, I mean, illustrations, basically it's sketches, okay? So initially we drew the full temple, okay? Full view of the temple for architecture, in terms of architecture point of view.
Okay.
And the second would be illustrations for specific requirements. That is the hairdo or the ornaments. So these. And the third is the imaginary part of it. Okay. So yeah, it is. I think these three classifications.
No, because when you must have learned a lot about temples. I'm sure a girl of your age, this is a kind of a research that very few people come up with.
Yes.
The learnings would have been immense there. Absolutely. But the point I'm trying to ask you from entire perspective is, there must have been moments when you look at all your drawings, all your sketches that you do in that book. Each stone would have been speaking a story.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Yes.
There were the moments when you felt that, look, somebody's trying to tell me something in this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Can you talk about it?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, my first interaction with Suren, right? So, what he gave me a picture, and he asked me to analyze it.
Okay.
Okay, and I tried my best. I put a very big, elaborate email saying that, this is going this way, that way, some artistic point of view, some, I don't know what temple it is, I don't know what it is about, I don't know anything about that temple or that particular picture that he took. But I tried to bring about my own story and create a story out around it as to what it is trying to say. But I know it would. I don't even remember what I wrote now. Okay, but it would have been gibberish.
Okay.
But the thing is, after that, when I learned so much, and when I look at an image now, or when I look at a sculpture now, I see so many things. Like all the thematics I see, all the stone types I see, all the temples, all the patrons, all the sculptors, the kings, the kind of effort that goes into it. I see everything in just one look, one glance of a temple or any historical monument.
In fact, Suren, when he spoke to me about the book, he was saying that many of these temples, before they were built, they were sketched out somewhere.
Correct.
Okay, they were drawn by the architects or whoever was those times. You're talking of right from the 6th century to the 17th century, when the final decline in temples in India started.
Yeah.
The peak would have been somewhere in 13th, 14th century.
12th, 13th.
Yeah, 12th, 14th century, correct. So my point is, at that moment when you started sketching, and today we have all the technology available for us, with us to sketch, but finally you have to sketch. That's it. That's it.
Correct.
But when you talk of sketching as such per se, when you look at and you think, look, those days, how did these people achieve these kind of finesse?
Exactly.
Were there moments like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I cannot get that in my sketch as well. I cannot do that. I cannot justify my sketch to the kind of it's eventually that's a 3D art. Okay, I have to let it be 3D. Some of them I refused. I don't want to do this. This is not making sense. Even if I sketch it, it's not justifying the beauty of the mammoth structures, the art in it. It's not just my sketch is not justifying it. I don't want to do this.
Belur.
Belur, exactly. Belur, the Darpana Sundari, so many, beautiful sculptures. I cannot justify them in a, sketch. I cannot. So whatever I can do best to bring about the beauty of what they've done, to highlight those things, to highlight the minute details that they have sculpted, which is not seen in the naked eye, which is not acknowledged. That is what I try to bring in the sketch.
I think our forefathers, or even foremothers, if you can call it, those people, those times brought out beautiful temples, not just the engineering part of it.
Correct.
Also the artistic part of the entire thing. Building a temple is one thing, but getting those stones in place, getting those imagery in place. You go to Padmanabha Swami temple, there's 364 pillars. Why did they make 364, not 368?
Right.
Of course, it had to do with the year.
Yeah.
And then they had 1/4 of a pillar. Then you wonder why 1/4 of a pillar. Then you realize there's a leap year.
Yes.
So these are things that actually have gone past it. But do you think anywhere along the way you felt that, look, one has to go beyond all this? And maybe at one time you feel like I should actually organize an exhibition of what all I did, because there must have been many sketches which, as I spoke about earlier, which you never used in the book.
Correct.
Do you think there will come a time when you feel that, look, I should do a kind of put up an exhibition? Because each picture, again, if you have to put a guide in front of it or a person in front of it to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think, do you think you will ever come up with something like that?
Yes. I mean, I would definitely want to put all the illustrations that I've done. There are lots of illustrations that it's not. I would not say that deserves to go, but the thing is, it should be showcased. Somewhere. It's art. End of the day, it's art, and I think I would do that.
The thing which I'm trying to ask you is that, when you did all those designs of the yesteryears, centuries old designs which you brought forth in your sketches.
Right.
And when you look at a modern thematic today, somebody says, okay, draw a building, draw an architecture of a modern 3 BHK house or anything of the similar things. They are two different things, isn't it, for you?
Correct.
In your regular job, possibly you would have done those kind of jobs and also done this.
Correct. Yeah, it is definitely two different things. There you have history attached to it. You have learning. You have so much of history attached to it. Here, it is still art, but the weightage is more, of course. In that art, the weightage is much more. There's a lot more effort. The resources were so less, but still they could come up with that kind of mammoth structures, that beauty, that majestic structures with such less resources. That has to be appreciated much more than what we have with the tools and technologies that we have and the buildings that we have right now. It's definitely two different things, and I would definitely go back to those days and enjoy, relish. That is the reason history is appreciated and valued.
There is no color in Templexity at all. It's all a black and white effort.
Yes.
Do you think a bit of color would have added to it, or do you think that would have taken away the entire glamour quotient?
Absolutely, because we have so much of color in the pictures that if I add color, then that will take away the importance of what we are trying to highlight. It has to be black and white. It has to be that way. That is the exact way it is supposed to be illustrated.
Swathy, if as we come to the end of this interview, if I ask you, if you had missed this project, if your father was not a colleague of, or rather a classmate of your dad or Surendranath, you would have missed this project.
Right.
If your dad was not Surendranath's colleague, you would have missed this project.
Yeah.
Maybe when you think of it, there are moments where you think there's something called destiny. Do you accept it?
I do.
Yeah.
This is definitely destiny. I mean, being part of it for 9 years is destiny.
Not many kids. I mean, I'm saying kids because that time you would have been very young.
Very young, yeah.
So not many kids get this kind of opportunity from somebody who says, go do it.
Yeah. even getting, not even getting the opportunity, it's more of latching on to it, you know, and not leaving it to wait till the end, to hold on to it, and to have given me the opportunity to let me be, and to involve me to this level where I'm coming here and talking about it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
That is
That
more
is-
important.
Swathy Chalapathy, I think you've lived a journey of a lifetime at this very young age. I mean, you've been a part of our rich culture and history through your sketches, through your
Right.
drawings, through your illustrations.
Right.
I think there's a lot more we can speak on in subsequent interviews where you can actually sketch and tell us how you did it, each one of them. So we will get into a bit more depth of it, but it was wonderful having you here at Nationalist Hub
Thank
and
you.
speaking to us. And I wish the part 2 and part 3 of this books will see more of your sketches, more of your
Sure.
drawing, more of your
Sure.
illustration.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
I hope so too. Thank you.
Thank you.
so
Namaste.
much. Namaste.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Swathy Chalapathy, who spoke about her journey in building the book called Templexity, authored by Surendranath Bopparaju. The way she drew the pictures in that, the way she did her entire database collection and sorting it, and of course deciding what goes and what doesn't go in it. It must have been a journey of a lifetime for her, as I described. And for many young kids who are watching this is an opportunity for each one of you to think of a career just beyond engineering and medicine. There's a lot out there in this world. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.
Please subscribe to Nationalist Hub English channel for more interesting videos, and don't forget to like and share this video. Nationalist Hub, it's a news revolution.